In every interaction, beneath the surface of casual conversations and everyday gestures, an invisible game unfolds. A silent war for power, control, and respect. It's a game most never see, yet it shapes the very fabric of our relationships, our careers, and our society. This isn't about loud demands or desperate pleas. No, it's something far more subtle, far more dangerous. True power doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg. It doesn't explain itself. Power whispers, commands through silence. It asserts through distance. It thrives in the space where uncertainty breeds respect or fear. To chase after someone, to plead for validation, to justify your actions, these are deadly missteps. They unravel authority. They invite humiliation. They mark weakness others will exploit. This is not just theory or polite social etiquette. It is a timeless law of human behavior, etched into history by one of the most cunning minds ever to dissect power, Niccolò Machiavelli. His rules were not merely political maneuvers for Renaissance princes. They are a blueprint, a guide for navigating every human battlefield. Machiavelli understood this truth. To chase or explain is to surrender control, to expose the cracks in your armor where enemies can strike. In a world growing louder every day, where noise and chaos drown reason, mastering the art of silent power is more vital than ever. It is the quiet force that commands fear and respect without a single word spoken. Today, we peel back the layers of this silent game. We'll explore why those who never chase, never beg, and never explain hold a mysterious, almost terrifying authority over others. We'll delve into the psychological and historical roots of these rules and reveal what happens when they're broken. A fall from grace marked by loss, shame, and the erosion of respect. The question is not whether you'll play this game. The question is, will you survive it? To understand this silent power play, the ruthless refusal to chase, to beg, or to explain, we must journey back to a world where power was no game of words, but a brutal struggle for survival. That world was Renaissance Italy, a fractured land of city-states, scheming princes, and deadly betrayals. It is here, amid the shadows of ambition and danger, that Niccolò Machiavelli emerged. A shrewd diplomat and political thinker, he penned what would become the ultimate manual of power, The Prince. Machiavelli's writings stand apart from the idealistic visions of his time. He rejected the notions of divine right or moral righteousness as foundations for authority. Instead, he laid bare the cold, pragmatic mechanics of power, how rulers must operate in a realm ruled not by kindness, but by fear and respect. In this ruthless theater, Machiavelli warned rulers of one critical truth: never chase favor. To chase is to appear desperate, to reveal a hunger that invites contempt, not loyalty. The prince who begs for love or approval exposes himself as weak. He opens the door wide for rivals, to manipulate, to overthrow. It is far better to command fear, calculated, controlled, and precise, than to be adored and abandoned. Likewise, Machiavelli cautioned against over-explaining actions, decisions. In the world of power, explanations often signal uncertainty, doubt. They betray a need for validation and undermine authority. A leader who must justify himself reveals cracks in his armor, cracks that enemies will exploit without hesitation. History offers chilling examples that bring Machiavelli's rules to life. Consider Cesare Borgia, the ruthless son of Pope Alexander VI. Borgia ruled with an iron fist, rarely justifying his actions or pleading for loyalty. His silent, unyielding power kept enemies at bay. He understood this truth: respect born of fear is stronger than any fleeting affection or approval. Contrast him with lesser rulers who wasted their strength chasing allies or explaining away failures. Their desperation cost them everything. Thrones lost, alliances shattered, legacies reduced to cautionary tales. These lessons were not just political tactics. They were psychological insights into human nature itself. Machiavelli understood power operates in the mind, in the perception of others. Silence, distance, restraint create an aura of control far more potent than any boast or plea. As we dissect these principles today, remember they are more than historical artifacts. They are living, breathing truths that continue to shape how power is wielded. Whether in royal courts, corporate boardrooms, or everyday relationships, Machiavelli's blueprint reveals a timeless paradox. The strongest force often lies not in pursuit, but in withdrawal, not in explanation, but in silence, not in begging, but in commanding. If history shows us the battlefield, psychology reveals the weapons. Beneath Machiavelli's timeless rules lies a profound understanding of human nature, how our minds instinctively respond to signals of strength and weakness, dominance and submission. To truly grasp why chasing, begging, and explaining erode influence, we must unravel the psychological forces at play. At the heart of power dynamics is a simple truth: attention is scarce. In a world overwhelmed by noise and competing demands, where we focus our attention sends a powerful message. When you chase someone's approval or beg for their favor, you signal desperation, a scarcity mindset that screams, "I need you more than you need me." This perception flips the natural order of dominance, making you appear vulnerable, pliable, and ultimately less valuable. Social psychologists call this the principle of scarcity. The more available something or someone appears, the less we value it. Conversely, withholding attention, withholding explanations, creates a sense of mystery and control. It's the silent power of restraint. Not everyone gets your time, your reasons, or your emotional energy. This silence becomes a currency far richer than words. But there's more. Power also resides in emotional control, the ability to master one's reactions, to project calm certainty. Neuroscience shows us when people over-explain or justify themselves, triggers doubt not just in others but within themselves. This self-doubt leaks through body language, tone, even subtle facial cues, eroding the very foundation of authority. This dynamic ties closely to the psychology of dominance and submission. Humans instinctively read signals. Dominant individuals maintain control by setting boundaries and refusing to chase. Submissive behaviors involve seeking approval, over-explaining, pleading. When you step into the role of the chaser, you relinquish control. The balance of power shifts away from you. Behavioral economics offers another lens. It teaches us about commitment devices and signaling. By refusing to chase or explain, you send a strong signal that your value is inherent, not contingent on approval. It's a demonstration of self-respect and independence that commands reciprocal respect. Real-life examples bring these concepts vividly to life. Consider the corporate world. CEOs who micromanage, constantly explain every decision, or seek endless validation, often lose credibility. Their teams grow uncertain, less motivated. Meanwhile, leaders who hold their cards close, communicate through decisive action, and controlled silence, inspire loyalty and fear in equal measure. Even in personal relationships, the pattern holds. Those who over-explain or chase affection inadvertently reveal insecurity. This causes partners to question their worth and power. In contrast, individuals who cultivate an aura of silent strength shape the emotional landscape, compelling respect and sometimes fear without uttering a word. Ultimately, the psychology of silent power boils down to mastery. Mastery of oneself and the art of strategic withholding. It is the ability to communicate volumes without speaking, to command through presence rather than please. This is the essence of why chasing, begging, and explaining destroy influence. They break the spell of control, expose vulnerability, and hand over the reins to others. The silent power game Machiavelli described centuries ago is not trapped in history books. It pulses through the veins of our modern world, shaping the dynamics of power in ways both visible and invisible. From the gleaming towers of corporate boardrooms to the endless scroll of social media feeds, the principles of never chasing, never begging, and never over-explaining echo louder than ever. In today's hyper-connected age, the noise is deafening. Everyone is vying for attention, validation, approval. The digital world amplifies desperation. Endless tweets defending decisions, public apologies broadcast for all to see, viral meltdowns begging for sympathy or support. Yet beneath all the noise, a truth remains unshaken. Those who chase or over-explain lose. Their power dissolves, replaced by skepticism, ridicule, or outright contempt. Take politics, for example. We've seen countless leaders caught in cycles of frantic explanations, justifying missteps, pleading for trust, scrambling to win back approval. But these efforts often backfire. They expose insecurity. They invite further attacks. And the public's attention, precious, finite, moves on, leaving these figures weaker and more vulnerable than before. In contrast, those who master silence and restraint stand apart. They speak less, but mean more. They command attention without pleading. They cultivate an aura of untouchable authority. This same power dynamic plays out on social media, where the currency is influence. Influencers who chase likes and followers, who beg for engagement or overshare every personal detail, often see their credibility erode. The audience senses desperation and recoils. Meanwhile, those who curate their presence, who maintain mystery, who resist the urge to explain, command deeper respect and loyalty. They understand power doesn't come from constant exposure. It comes from strategic withholding, from letting scarcity breed desire. Even in corporate culture, the rules remain. Executives who over-explain every decision, who seek approval from every voice in the room, signal uncertainty. Their teams sense it and lose confidence. But leaders who maintain boundaries, who communicate through decisive action, who don't feel the need to justify every move, project quiet strength, and earn unwavering loyalty. On a personal level, in relationships, in social circles, those who chase affection or endlessly explain their intentions often find their influence fading. Yes, vulnerability is human, but desperation is a repellent. Those who maintain composure, who refuse to chase validation, shift the power dynamic. They become magnetic, drawing respect and sometimes fear. These examples expose a paradox of modern life. In an age obsessed with transparency, with constant communication, the greatest power often lies in silence, in selective disclosure, in the refusal to explain. Machiavelli's blueprint remains timeless. The forms have changed, but the game, the relentless pursuit and preservation of power, has not. And in this game, those who chase, beg, or explain become easy targets. But those who command silent respect endure. As we reflect on these patterns, we must ask uncomfortable questions about our behavior and the norms we accept around communication. Are we unknowingly giving away our power by seeking validation in a world that rewards restraint? How do we reclaim authority in relationships, in workplaces, in public life, without falling into desperate displays? The silent power play invites us to rethink what strength really means, and to recognize that sometimes the most profound influence comes from what is left unsaid. Power is not just a force that governs nations. It shapes us. It carves itself into the very essence of our human experience. To command respect and to instill fear is to step into a space both powerful and deeply uncomfortable. It is a space where ethics and survival collide, where vulnerability meets dominance, As we contemplate the silent power Machiavelli described, we must ask ourselves, is this art of withholding, of commanding fear, a form of manipulation, or is it a necessary strategy for navigating a world that so often rewards strength over kindness? At its core, power reveals a paradox, a contradiction deeply woven into the fabric of the human condition. Fear and respect, they are intertwined. They serve as both social glue and instruments of control. Fear keeps order. It deters chaos. It enforces boundaries. Respect builds trust. It establishes status. It fosters cooperation. Yet both are fragile, easily broken, easily abused. Machiavelli's lessons confront us with this fragile balance and the discomfort it brings. In wielding silent power, in choosing not to chase, not to explain, we embrace a form of control rooted not in vulnerability, but in distance, a curated distance, a calculated stillness. This distance creates mystery, unpredictability, an aura of quiet authority, but it also raises hard questions. Does commanding fear breed isolation? Does silence sever the threads of trust? Are we trading genuine connection for superficial strength? These aren't abstract ideas. They strike at the core of how we relate to one another. Trust demands openness. Power often demands concealment. Vulnerability can build empathy, but it can just as easily invite harm. Machiavelli's blueprint doesn't give us simple answers. Instead, it forces us to sit with contradiction, to walk a line between control and connection, to navigate a world where dominance and submission exist in uneasy, unspoken balance. Silent power is a mirror, a reflection of the darker corners of human nature. It reveals our instinctual drives for control, for safety, for recognition. But within that reflection is a challenge, a call to awareness, to see the cost of power, not just for those who wield it, but for those who live beneath it. The pursuit of respect and fear can harden hearts, can isolate souls, can echo through generations as cycles of control, domination, and silence. In embracing these lessons, we must confront ourselves. We must ask, is power a mask we wear to protect what's soft beneath? Or is it a prison, one we build, brick by brick, around our own humanity? This reflection transcends strategy. It transcends ambition. It becomes a meditation on the nature of strength, on the burden of silence, on the tension between control and connection. Because in the end, understanding this delicate dance may be the truest test of wisdom, not just knowing how to wield power, but learning how to carry it, to live with its weight, to see through its illusion, to remain human, even while standing in its shadow. Mastering the art of silent power, the refusal to chase, to beg, or to over-explain, is not an invitation to cruelty. It is not a game of manipulation. At its core, it is a practice of self-respect, of inner strength. It is about cultivating a presence, quiet but unshakable, that commands attention without ever needing to demand it. A steady calm amid the chaos of modern life. This silent power play demands more than tactics, calls for patience, discipline, and deep psychological insight. It teaches us how to navigate the unpredictable world of human relationships and societal expectations with grace and control. To hold power silently is to know when to speak, and more importantly, when not to. But with that power comes responsibility. The responsibility not to lose ourselves in the pursuit of fear or respect, but to use these forces wisely, ethically, consciously. So ask yourself, as you reflect on Machiavelli's rules and the psychology behind them, how do you wield power? Do you chase approval, or do you command presence? Do you explain away your worth, or does your silence speak for you? This silent power play, it isn't just a strategy, it's a mindset, a way of being, a subtle shift that can reshape how you move through the world. The question is, are you ready to master it? If this exploration has stirred something within you, consider how you might carry these lessons into your own life. Look closely at your interactions, your boundaries, the unspoken signals you send every day. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the hidden forces that shape our lives and our minds, subscribe. Join a community of thinkers who question, analyze, and grow. Because remember, true power is not shouted, it's felt, it's silent, and it starts with you.